And it's the man whistled off the bench, Tiff Eden, who gets us rocking and rolling. Loose ball and immediately picked up, and Bristol straight away into their stride. This is Max Laheath. Talked in the build-up about the slow starts Northampton have been making. They were unable to gather the kick-off in cleanly, and it's brought some immediate pressure on their defensive system, and it's being tested right now by Siali Piatau. Here goes Eden. Oh, he's bursting his way through. What a start this would be for Eden and for Bristol. Immediately Northampton on the back foot, laid back by Uren into the arms of Jake Woolmore. Nathan Hughes pointing the way, nodding for the ball, which he gets eventually from Uren. Jake Heenan going over the top. Piatau again, and Eden, and now Leua over the top for Nii Adialokan. Northampton have managed to rebalance, but all of this hard work as a result of the spilt kickoff. Atwood continues the quest to try to make them pay into double figures phase-wise. Woolmore offered himself, instead it was Piatau looking for Byrne, but it's stolen back by Lewis Ludlam. And Northampton can breathe again, and they can clear their lines. And that line clearing job is completed.
Huge pressure, but great scramble defence against Tiff Eden and co, as they look like they might scamper over.
Bristol not hanging around at the line-out. They play at this fast tempo, fast offloading game, trying to put defences off balance and keep them off balance for as long as they can. Certainly a feature as the game progressed against Worcester last weekend. Ball over the peroxided head of Max Laheath into the big arms of Dave Atwood. And now Leua. And this is Joe Joyce, Bristolian from head to toe, as Sarah was finding out before the match.
To wrestle back momentum, one positive backed up with another. Every one of the members of the squad that they're going to get on and do their job, and some of that isn't technical, it can just be effort.
And that's an easier thing to sort out in your mind.
Oh, absolutely. I looked at their game last week and some of the tries against the Harlequins, if they just a couple of individual errors, at times they're just switching off and not concentrating. They're going to have to concentrate for 80 minutes tonight, because this Bristol team really set out to play.
The chasing Grayson's kick. Piers Francis was leading it, but
How much time he had, didn't need to get off the ground inside the 22 so he could call them out. Let's get the ball, didn't need to get off the ground inside.
But in his effort to keep things, Patty Leua and
concentrating, they're going to have to concentrate for 80 minutes tonight, because this Bristol team really set out to play.
The chasing Grayson's kick. Piers Francis was leading it, but it's just a little bit too close to Patty Leua, and he calls for the mark.
Good awareness from Leua as well, just knew exactly how much time he had, didn't need to get off the ground inside the 22 so he could call them out. Let's get the ball in field.
Taylor to Arsi Toala. Harry Mallander given the night off tonight. He was the starting fullback last weekend, ended the match at fly half. Mallander watching on like the rest of us tonight. Taylor finding Wood in Northampton, moving the ball through the hands pleasingly. Ratuni Uawa starting to get a few jabs of their own away, and Taylor tries to go under the radar. First go at winding the clock this evening ahead of Alex Mitchell for him, and that's nicely done by Ezekwe, but in his effort to keep things going off the floor, it went forwards, and Bristol can bring it forwards. Harry Thacker, at least until the new year. Uren evades Luke Pearce, tries to evade that Northampton defence. It was brought forward by Piers O'Connor. Not cleanly it seemed, no, it did go forward, spotted by Pearce. Saints scrum.
Just the ball gets dislodged in.
Tom Wood picks it up from the base of that scrum. Here is Matt Proctor, midfielder a week ago, winger tonight. This is the captain, Lewis Ludlam. He and Alex Waller, the co-captains at the moment. And now David Ribbons, part of the same back five that began at the Gardens last weekend. Grayson, and now Hutchinson. Wood, so long. part of the furniture. That's Jake Walmore, who was slowing things down legally. The Saints eventually managed to get the ball out of the glue pot. Taylor, Ratuni Uawa, second hefty carry of his night. Collins, 100th match tonight, and he threads it through to Wood, and this is looking possible. Matt Proctor was offering himself. Wood decided to hold on to the ball. Clearly didn't feel the option of the pass was a safe one. And again, Ratuni Uawa trying to punch some holes, and Ribbon's done exactly that. My goodness, he's driving through Ribbon's. Ball in one hand, ball over the try line. That's the kind of punch. 10 minutes gone.
To keep the ball away from the tackle and not let it get snagged, and then the big reach using all his height.
And from this restart, Northampton much more secure.
Okay, Northampton.
Gathered as it was by the fullback, the Samoa, and Arsi Tuala.
Hold in front, 3, stop.
Clipped away by Taylor.
Being that line break, he's worked right across the pitch. He's added in that quality. That's how they got in behind. Ribbon's finished it, but it's that work rate off the ball, something that will please their coaching staff.
Ratuni Uawa, but you're summing up the challenges that they're all going through at the moment. However, that was not so smart, and here goes O'Connor. He was closed down quickly, however. Pears on Pears, bit of Pears pressure. Tiff Eden, and then Uran Piertau offered himself, but merely a dummy. O'Connor continues the thread to the furthest corners of Ashton Gate, where we find Adeolokan.
Flat, play on.
And now Hughes, and it's time for him to blast through one or two Northampton doors. Joyce working hard to get this back on the right side.
Coach has been talking about all week actually is just that move. But if you're stopping someone in midfield, you're probably taking away valuable meters on the outside.
Grayson bouncing ball over the top. It's a dangerous bouncing ball, so dangerous that Saints have scored from it. Piers Francis.
That is stick to exactly what they practiced all week.
Look at this, early days, only quarter of an hour played, but Bristol 0, Northampton 14. They have played with so much more zip and gumption and determination, and whatever other word you want to throw into it. They've been significantly the better of the two sides so far.
9, you've had it. Dave, be careful. Come on.
Taylor. Taken by Leua. Piertau. Here goes O'Connor.
Northampton in front. Stop. Stop.
Hughes, I want to talk to you about Henry Purdy. First, not just his first start for the Bears at fullback tonight.
To find space, no one made a decision apart from Piers Francis, and it's cost them a try.
And Bristol looking to rebalance. Brian Byrne takes it up, and again Saints over. Eden into touch. Hughes.
Brilliant.
Byrne. Throw right to the tail of that line-out where he picks out Jake Heenan. Chris Fury still missing with his hand injury. Stephen Luatua hopefully back in the next week or so, but for the time being Heenan continues to work hard. There he is again.
On side 3.
Thomas, Hughes taking on the shoulders of Lewis Ludlam. And Brian Byrne again.
Bristol.
Joyce with Max Heath in close attendance. Thomas again picks it up for Hughes, and Hughes a little bit more bruising. Thomas again. He's pressing the restart button at the moment, acting at scrum half, while the proper scrum half, Andy Uran, is just happy to shepherd things.
Mate, you'll hold it.
Dave Atwood and Laheath. seeing how many metres they can make. In the end, it was counted in centimetres. Such was the intensity of Northampton's defence. Still, however, Jake Woolmore going low. Piatow away quickly to Eden, and now Purdy running forward and doing what he can do in attack. He redeems himself. Bristol redeem themselves. They're on the board for the...
But they just got outdone by better attack, beaten on the outside. If they'd had more...
Despite the close attentions of Piers Francis.
Okay, Bristol, use it. Let's go, 9. Let's go.
Marshall picking out Ezekwe. Hutchinson invites a little bit more work for Piers Francis, and he's got one man to beat, but that man was Adeolokan, and he managed to nail the tackle. Grayson back once again to Rotuni Uwawa, who is as industrious as he's been for a while. He's not making many metres, but he's making big metres and putting Saints on the front foot. Taylor, Francis, Hutchinson, and here goes Collins. He was tackled by Leua. Here's Ludlam. Grayson. Here's Owen Franks. CV like very few others. Tom Collins. Taylor. Rotuni Uwawa. And then Grayson just holding it up and then trusting his foot, looking for Tom Wood on that. BT Sport 1 HD. Verbal confirmation as well that, of course, next weekend, Europe. And you will not miss a thing. Thomas, and then Eden and Piatow and O'Connor and Purdy. Happy to put boot to ball and happy to see the ball bounce into touch. Bruce Marshall to Nick Ezekwe is becoming a successful pattern for Saints at the moment. So too the clearing kick from Taylor. Leua to Purdy. Takes on Grayson. This is Jake Woolmore, not for long. Eden. And then Piatow part of the plot to release Nathan Hughes. And Adeolokan's doing what he can to be up on his shoulder. Grayson holds him back importantly, and Grayson now doing what he can legally to slow that ball down.
I don't think it was that legal.
Eden, little chip over the top, hoping to connect with Leua. Leua needed an extra couple. Probably the quickest I've seen all season. That was astonishing. I've no idea how they did. Taylor, Proctor. Proctor does well to hold on to the ball through the challenge of Dan Thomas. Ludlam and Wood, two of those players that Northampton will be looking to set the tone, set the pace, set the bar, and they're doing all of that at the moment. Likewise with Franks. Grayson, Hutchinson. It's Nathan Hughes over the top. He thinks he has his right to hold on to the ball.
Earlier, as soon as that man gets set, he can get it, the less time the opposition have to look at the defence in front of them. They can't glance up and see number off properly, they can't communicate, and as I said before, you can't get it.
Joyce went up and caught it on the way down. That's quite a trick.
When the game's not going brilliantly for you, that's what you need your basics to go well. At the moment, Bristol just lacking a little bit there.
Heenan with the initial carry, now Joyce again. Uren, Eden, Hughes, Atwood. And this time it's Tom Wood over the ball, but to no avail. And Andy Uren can...
...is in the red zone than anyone else when they make those breaks. Just counts against Bristol, how the weather's turned tonight. Northampton already got that lead, and they can afford to be a little bit more patient.
Taylor hoists the ball high as it comes down. Adeolokan was again soundly underneath it. Brian Byrne there, former Leinster hooker, busy replacing Harry Thacker at the moment.
Okay, Bristol, use it.
It's a ball to contest, but it was won by Taylor. And then grappling his way through is Lewis Ludlam. He knows the current fix the club find themselves in. Proper test of his undoubted qualities. Been no finger pointing this week, and the likes of Ludlam have led the way. That was a little bit too easy.
Maul on the line is becoming increasingly difficult to defend if you get set up properly, so the referees are going to be extra stringent on making sure that your set up isn't illegal and you don't have players blocking in front of the ball carrier as he lands those lifters, just taking a step diagonally forward.
The kind of stuff that you listen to all the time,
On Spotify, Nick.
And here we go. Taken by Joe Joyce, who would definitely be Megadeth or someone like that. Brian Byrne has it. Joyce shouting the odds in his heavy Bristolian accent. Andy Uren likewise. Eden back to Leua, who whips it away, and now Purdy with a little bit of space, and Adeolokan on the other wing, but creating just as much of a threat, and he has buffeted his way to within 2-3 metres of the line. But Saints' defence was up quickly and determinedly, led by Piers O'Connor. And my goodness, how Northampton have managed to defuse that threat. Lewis Ludlam claiming that they ought to have the easy access of a penalty.
Northampton, use it!
As it is, they still have the ball in their control. Listen to Luke Pearce. Taylor being told to get on with it. That is great to see. And it forces the error from Taylor. But it's going to force scrum halves just to rethink that clearing process and to get on with it.
He has the ball now, release Northampton! Let it go!
Bristol have got it.
And Bristol have won it back, and if they score from this, it will be as a direct result of Luke Pearce telling the scrum half that he had 5 seconds and no more. Hughes gathers it dexterously, still going brilliantly. Hughes like a ballet dancer, almost up to the line. Hutchinson was there. Byrne head down. Bristol looking for the score before half-time that would bring them right back into it. Atwood.
Just needed to go across Atwood, that ball.
Hughes again. Uren.
Let's go!
Which way is he going to go?
That's a knock on.
This is Heenan. Rotuni Urawa, again part of that.
Mind you, was it playing the scrum half anyway, Hugo, that caused him to knock it on?
Hold side, Northampton.
The ball is out, and Byrne again. Uren beyond Eden to Peartow. Eden though on the loop, and this is Purdy, and that is brilliant. That is wonderful. Sharp hands, sharp minds. A beautiful Bears score finished off by.
There it is, that's a knock on.
Yeah, it comes off his fingertips and goes forward, yeah?
Yeah, knock on, no try. No try, knock on.
Oh, there were so many sharp Bristol hands that followed that.
That's what Rosie.
And that was a number of phases back, so although the decision was right, were they right to go back?
All black caps, did he win? Marshall ships it back to Taylor. Laid back by Thomas. Uren. Leua, and now Purdy, and again Adeolokan will chase after that, and well, in the end, Henry Taylor will be happy to usher that out. James Grayson with the restart. Straight down the middle. Taken by Henry Purdy, first start for the Bears at fullback tonight. Charles Peartow not back until the new year. Max Malins with England. Johan Lloyd with Wales. They've got big weekends ahead of them.
Use it! 9!
Uren having to withstand a certain amount of buffeting before he got that ball away here against Northampton in September. It's a contest tonight that has a completely different complexion to it. Saints very much at the races, although the scoreline will tell you that Bristol are still there as well. Once again, Rotuni Urawa. Taylor.
Everybody in front, stop!
Clipped away by Grayson. Bouncing ball on the half volley, taken by Purdy. was.
Hold on. Stay still. Second!
This is Tiff Eaton, who was originally due to start this match on the bench, but because a pile of bodies that was bumbled over Worcester's line for a second try last weekend, and he's off again. He's doing his primary jobs well, 9 out of 10 line out wide so far tonight. And this is Woolmore. Hughes. He's off to play down on the floor. Saints operate. And Uren looking for a little bit of forward momentum from the pack. And they win the pack. And Tiff Eden pulls Bristol 3 points closer. The Bears 8, Saints 14. This comes in.
Any easier for the Saints scrum? John Alfoa nice and fresh.
Replacing Max Laheath.
Bristol, use it! Onside. Let's go!
Well, that's thrown over the top by the new hooker Fish, but no long-lasting damage done. Here goes Grayson. Actually, apologies, it was Fraser Dingwall who took it up. This is Grayson.
In front, stop, 16! 16!
Tuala, a little
Bristol,
kick
hold
ahead.
in front! Hold! Good.
This is Grayson. Dan Biggar actually not playing for Wales this weekend, but available for Saints either, as Dingwall drives it up over halfway. Ratuni Urawa invited to create an extra few metres again, but for the Northampton scrum coach Matt Ferguson.
Frantic and full of fluid rugby. Hasn't quite settled yet.
Crying out for a little bit more effort, but white, saintly defensive shirts doing what they can to try and stop this gathering, swirling Bristol storm. Uren, oh, he goes down the blind side, twisting and turning, and very nearly there in the end of Zique. Lassoed him in the nick of time, but still the threat. Byrne, the latest to give it a go. David Ribbons over the ball, Ribbons doing brilliantly. And again, a Bristol fire extinguished. Saints line out again as Zique, the preferred option, picked up by Ludlam.
Okay, Northampton. Use it. 3.
Taylor. Adeoloken positions himself. Knocked back by Wood, but had a secure foundation to create the platform for Purdy to start to ask some questions in Northampton's half, asking more than one question. Uren. Plenty of players out on that left-hand side. One of them was O'Connor. Uren again, a sliding joist on the boundary ropes. Just about held on to it. Hearing, by the way, that Piers Francis has failed his head injury assessment. Fraser Dingwall will be staying with us. Penalty advantage on the way, and also news of Reece Marshall. He's failed his. So a new scrum half with a new scrum half. This is Alex Mitchell. The props have been changed as well. We will confirm that. Northampton's props, Francois van Veek and Aaron Painter on for Waller and Franks. Peartow releasing Purdy. Bouncing ball needs to be dealt with by Grayson, and he needs some help from his fullback Tuala. Siali Peartow brings it back.
Tony Arawa, the referee called to stop, they're offside. Bit of help from his assistant though, saying the ball was touched in flight, so he was onside.
Yeah, it was Roy Maybank. Touch judge who picked that up. Purdy, oh, that's nicely done.
He's looked sharp, Purdy, hasn't he? Ball in hand tonight.
Randall. Purdy comes in at scrum half. Hughes, our foe. This is Capon.
As you can see here, confidence. Start second guessing what you might want to do. The forward pack are looking at him. Should we be going to the corner? And that becomes an extra factor within the game.
I also think as well, Northampton have probably felt at times over the last 9 losses, things just aren't going our way. You always feel like that when you're on a losing streak. Tonight,
Shortish closed season, getting him fully back up to speed, but he's back with us now, Nairivoro. Randall, Eden, Hughes. He's tackled by Ludlam. Ludlam's done his job today. Randall, and then Capon. Taken on once more by Tiff Eden.
No, he's not lifting the ball.
Thomas backs off. Instead, it was to the bloke in front of him, Heenan, and once again, Hughes. This time Fraser Dingwall over the top, but he's cleared away by Siali Pietau. Heenan. Oh, no way through there. That was a big hit from Painter.
It's a very good defensive set. You look at where it started, you now look at where Bristol are, and who's in the ascendancy? Bristol with the ball, now forced to kick it away. And this ball could bounce and roll all the way back for Northampton. It's amazing.
now take the back end of this game into the Bristol half and get doing what they were doing in the first half. Suddenly, that game becomes a lot harder to come back for Bristol.
Bristol change at 10. Eden off, Bedlow on. Wood to Mitchell. Where's this bouncing up?
Just for them to feel a little bit more comfortable.
Randall to Pietau, and O'Connor charging his way through. Randall again, and now Hughes deftly offloads it to our Foa. It went backwards, and multiple hands managed to release Toby Fricker on this near side. Woolmore. Fraser Dingwall was up and he got his man.
Great scramble D from Northampton.
Bedlow, Pietau, O'Connor, back to Heenan. Mitch Eady, who has not long joined us. Bedlow, Hughes. Again, Dingwall was there quickly, and Purdy and Bristol are being pushed back at the moment by some pretty determined Northampton defending, and now they've won the ball. Oh, by a country mile, this is the best that Saints have defended this.
Been forced into playing a little bit more. So important, this possession ends up in Bristol's 22.
Mitchell, Hutchinson, Grayson. The idea wasn't the worst one, but it ricocheted off Fricker back into Grayson's hands. Fish, again, nicely done, deftly done to pick out Rotuni Uawa. Mitchell has a look down this blind side. He might do it all on his own, and it was a decent tackle from Purdy. Last line of defence for the first time in his career tonight, and he needed to make that tackle, which he did.
Rubens has done well there, got man and ball, managed to spin out and make sure it wasn't a completely negative hit.
Always backwards.
Dingwall away quickly and also legally went backwards. Harry Randall is down at the moment. He's limping back onto his feet. He'll try and offer some support now for Thomas.
Everybody in front, hold!
Oh, Mitchell did well to block that effort. And look at Fricker scampering back. Bristol will have the dropout. Bedlow, hoists it long into the arms of Naira. Off he goes. Oof, or maybe not.
Okay, Northampton, use it.
Francois van Fake.
Okay, that's good. Now, please, let's go, 9.
Mitchell this time gets the Luke Pearce hurry up. Thomas over his shoulder, controlled it well, and then wriggled away from a couple of attempted challenges. Randall to Cape on. Here's Jan Thomas, 30 now, firmly established as a Bristol favourite after his days with Gloucester. However, these 3 points might be.
Bristol, but Northampton will be really keen to get this out of their half.
Lovely.
Okay, Northampton, 9, use it.
Apologies for the language.
9 in front.
Expect Naira to chase it. Well, actually, in the end, Mitchell
Looked very groggy. I think that'll be the last we see of him.
Gosh.
Last one was on the edge, I thought. Oh, I did, a video.
No foul play there, just two teammates colliding heads.
Thanks, Liz.
Players will all be being checked by the doctors now on
Yeah,
the tablet.
not for an HIAM blood. He's got 17 minutes to get himself sorted out. He probably won't want to take that long because it'll mean he'll miss the end of the match, but he's got plenty of time. Getting himself sorted out is the most important thing. Here goes Will Cape on for the Bears. Randall. This is Bedlow, who's come on now as the replacement 10, slated initially to start at fly half, but just a little bit of a groin problem, which meant that they felt it safest to start with him on the bench. Pieta. Patuleo are amongst those. The Bristol cries of "Go Johnny!" and
advantage.
John Arthur trying to do what he can do. He draws the penalty in the end, and there might be more. This is O'Connor flying through. Oh my goodness! Skipping across the damp turf, and still hope for Bristol, and still plenty of time. And another kick through the defence, unlocking the defence.
Yeah, a big scrum holding the back row down. Northampton have been trying to put line speed.
Just the kick, but it's the angle of the kick.
Version either. 2 points in it. Bristol 15, Northampton 17. And here's the man who will have a try assist at the end of the night for all of you with an interest in fantasy league this season. Harry Randall. Uren.
With ball in hand.
Equator, Mitchell and Hutchinson, and again the defence up quickly. This time it was Sam. Randall goes down the left-hand side and invites Purdy to do what he can do. And here's the try scorer, O'Connor. He's been tackled well, however, by Fraser Dingwall. So these Northampton tackles tonight have been momentous.
Just because of his positional sense, but he's a competing winger. Like,
Oh my goodness. Again, Bristol with ball that they wouldn't have been expecting, and Saints frustration into the final 5 minutes. Still a lot of work to do. Here's the return of our friend the Caterpillar. Randall.
I think they're going to go to the air. It's got to land outside the 22. Just give him possession away. You can start to see that a little bit of nerves, a few errors, a little bit of inaccuracy.
Mitchell.
It's too long again.
Purdy doesn't hang around. Hutchinson's underneath this. Still ridiculously early in the season, but these feel like, despite that, a very big 2 or 3 minutes for Northampton ahead.
I've been complaining about kick tennis this season. We haven't had much tonight, but now it's up to Bristol to play. Northampton, they're not going to want to play.
No, you left away.
Every time Bristol kick it, you can see it coming back.
Use it.
Randall. Thomas not got the distance he would have wanted, and Mitchell determined it would be Northampton's ball, however.
Offside.
It's not deliberate, it's just a knock on. Fine. Set. Okay, Bristol.
Good
Use
scrum
it.
from the Saints.
Piatow feeding O'Connor, and now Purdy. Every time Purdy's on the ball, there remains Bristol hope. We all know what they're capable of ball in hand, but that won't help. Thomas has to sweep it up dexterously off the floor to invite Alfoa to drive it on for a metre or two. Randall, Joyce, Piatow once more, but just look where that Northampton defence is. Within touching distance, within tackling distance. Thomas. Smidge over a minute between Northampton and their first win of the season, and extinguishing the possibility that they might equal their worst ever run of Premiership defeats. Capon. Randall. This is Bedlow. O'Connor breaking through, and he's creating some mayhem here. And here goes Purdy. And the Saints are clinging on for their lives now. Thomas, that's gone forwards. There'll be the conclusion to this contest. Time's up. This is the kick that will decide who wins and who loses. Here it goes. Oh, he's caught it.